All right, welcome back. If you're a returning user and if you're a new user, then congratulations on signing up for Cyberangels. My name is Sanjay, and I am the customer relationship manager at Cyberangels. And in today's video, we're going to learn how you can, manage framework compliances and remediations for each of your clients, right? So it's very, I think compliance management is one of the critical components of cybersecurity. And, if we as a cybersecurity platform doesn't offer that to our users, then I think we should not call ourselves a cybersecurity platform. So in this video, I'm going to show you how the compliance manager works and how you can also activate it for your client, right? Now, currently, we have some limited numbers of compliance framework which are known across the globe. So we can cover ISO, we can cover ISO 2022, NIS2, NIST, and we also have created our own security framework, which is basically for those regions or countries where these, let's say, other frameworks are not really strictly followed, right? So we want to make sure that you still have some sort of a guidance to ensure that the cybersecurity of your clients are intact, and you have a checklist to follow to make that happen, right? Now, by default, the compliance manager is integrated directly into the client workspace because, as I said, the client workspace is a place where you can easily manage everything related to your client, whether it's security scans, whether it is remediations, evidence management, and stuff. So that's why we wanted to keep this functionality within client workspaces as well. So if I go to the platform Cyberangels, I mean, I hope by now you have everything as your white label stuff, your own logo, coloring, and stuff. So coming to the picture, so before we actually jump right into the compliance manager and how we activate it inside uh, customer workspaces or client workspaces, the first thing you have to do is to ensure that you have your subscriptions ready, right? So if you remember in one of the videos, I did mention about subscriptions, and basically subscriptions is the place through which you assign frameworks to each client, right? So for example, I built this subscription called Cyberangels. Uh, if I click on edit, you can see that this is a Cyberangels subscription. Basically, this subscription is to manage their security scans and ISO framework. And then I allowed a framework of ISO. Now we can have multiple frameworks given to one client. So we can select multiple frameworks as you want, and then you can click on save, and that framework will be added, right? So once you have fully double check that you have frameworks assigned to your subscriptions. If you don't, you can create new subscriptions as well if you don't want to assign it to the existing ones. And then what you have to do is that you have to ensure that when you go to the client workspace, the subscription is active for the client, right? So, for example, for this client, there's no subscription active, so that's totally fine. We can create workspaces without subscriptions as well. But in case you want to assign the subscription, you can either do it by if you're adding a customer from scratch or a client from scratch, you will have the option here, subscriptions. Or let's say if you want to assign it afterwards, you can click on edit and it will give you the option here, subscriptions, Cyberangels, or whatever your subscription name would be, right? Now, once you have assigned the subscription with the framework inside it, if you go to the client's workspace now, on the left, you will actually now see this thing. I mean, you also see it before as well, but now this particular section will be more active. So as you can see, compliance. In compliance, you can see that I assigned ISO compliance to this particular client workspace, and right now the percentage is 0. It's an overview. uh, the different compliances that I would have been assigned the subscription would be also visible here, whether it is NIST or NIS2, whatever we want to assign would be visible here. And then you can see that I have assigned this person ISO 22301 2019. So if I click inside it, you can see a bit more, let's say, sub checklist of where the progress of each item is, right? Now, this is a overall screen just to show you that okay, how we are performing in terms of complying with the particular framework, what is the overall progress, and what are the different progresses under the checklist. Now you can't really do anything here because this is just a report. What you have to do is that if you go to remediations, this is where the magic will happen, right? So as you can see, we have so many remediations here. It's pretty much 301. In total, there are 302, but that doesn't mean that all these remediations are related to ISO framework. Here you can see that in the framework option, there are certain, let's say, remediations which are dedicated to ISO or NIST altogether. And in order to ensure that we only look at the remediations which are related to that particular framework, all you have to do is you have to click on uh, target and make sure that the target is blank, right? Because you will find remediations for any risk or security issues find in your domains or emails. We don't really want to look at that if you're just focused on, let's say, remediations of compliance framework. So in order to show only the compliance framework, you just have to select this and you will be able to see it, right? If you look at the frameworks, right now, this functionality, if you look at the frameworks filtration right now, let's say this functionality is not there to select remediations per framework, but we are working on adding it. So that's why it's a quick hack that simply click on the target filtration, select blank, and you will find all the remediations related to that particular framework. As you can see, we have tons of framework, and this is basically a checklist which has been derived from the framework documentation, right? So instead of reading and going through the entire framework, what we have done is that we have divided the stuff into a checklist or task list that you can follow. Some of them you might have already followed or might have already done. So you just have to, bookmark them as done. But in case the ones you have not, you just have to manually go check what they want. Once the task is completed, you can upload the evidence and then you can mark it as done, right? So for example, let's say one of the let's say task is acquire software and SaaS services. For example, if I click on edit, uh, so the description of this task is that the choice of a new software or cloud service is made exclusively based on its features, cost, and ease of use without considering security aspects, right? Now, it's basically saying that if this is something which is being followed in the organization, which is a playbook where we don't consider the security aspects of the product and just focus on the features and costs, then it's a big no for the ISO framework, right? Now, let's say there's already a playbook inside the organization to consider security aspects as well before acquiring a SaaS tool. So, if it already exists, all you have to do is you have to upload the evidence. You can upload it there, and once that is done, you can click it on done and click it on save, and it will make the changes and it will mark it as done, right? So goes with any checklist. So it's basically a checklist or a task list that you have to follow. Click on edit, understand the description. If the company is already following it, all good. Just upload the evidence and uh, mark it as done. If it is still not done, you can type a comment or let know that what the delay is, so that your team manager or someone else can review as to why this task has not been done. So that is also an option. Uh, you can also select the progress. So you can say, okay, in progress, new, done, wait, whatever you want to choose, and boom. And whenever you complete all these tasks, your progress bar will start moving forward. You will see that how many tasks has been done, how many has been waived off, how many are still pending to be started or to be completed. So that's how basically the compliance manager works, right? And then pretty much as you start completing these different task lists, if you go back to the compliance, you will start seeing the progress here, that how much compliance framework has been completed. And also within, let's say, the dedicated ISO dashboard, you can start seeing for the different, let's say, for the different categories or sections, you will see that what the progress has been made, right? So coming back to in a nutshell, basically the idea is to ensure that you are able to properly manage the compliance framework for your clients. And what we are trying to provide is very simple. Instead of you remembering the different things you have to do, we have converted the entire policy or the framework into a checklist format, which the company or your client might already be following, and you just have to mark them as done. In case they have not followed something, the checklist will help you to understand, okay, this is not done, this is not done, this is pending, and then you can just understand and give evidence to the person that, hey, you have complied 50% with the ISO, 50% is remaining. These are the tasks that we have to do. And yeah, I think it will give them a fair transparency. So that's pretty much it. And if you face any challenges or any problems, feel free to always reach out to us.